Good morning, everybody. This is quite exciting as we really sink our teeth. That will be a literal statement, as for those of you that looked at the Gemara in Masechet Chulin. What I want to do is I want to actually begin by just reading Gemara. I think you're allowed to do that, and we'll see how far we can get. And then we're going to just try and just understand simple Pshat Gemara. That's all I want to do today. We'll see what happens. So Daf Tet Amud Aleph. We are going to start with line 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Line 15. V'amar Rav Yehuda Mar Shmuel. So here we go. Amar Rav Yehuda Mar Shmuel. Hatabach tzarich sheyivdok b'simanim la'achar shchita. So a guy takes his knife. There's a little picture over there, right? And he does shchita. Now, after the first of all, just question number one is, according to Mina Torah, what do you have to shecht? What do you have to shecht of the animal? Okay, so there's a difference between an animal and a bird. An animal, you need to shecht rov simanim. Every animal has a kan and a veshet, a esophagus and windpipe. The knife needs to pierce through most of those simanim.
Oh yeah, remember, we did this in Lev.
You did this in Lev? Yeah? We talked about this last week too?
We actually did it.
You actually did it?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Finish the video.
Yeah.
And by bird, you just need to have rov one of them. But at the end of the day, you really have to shecht all of them. That's what we try to definitely to do today. Anyone who does less than that, we're not going to allow you to eat it. So you have to shecht the simanim. So what do you need to do? So what are we assuming here? What does the tabach need to do? What does the shochet need to do after he shechs? He needs to
check, make sure you did it right.
Check, make sure you did it right. Now, is this l'chatchila? Is this b'diavad? What would you say based on the words? Is this l'chatchila, b'diavad, and why? What would you say? L'chatchila, based just on the language, simple language of the Gemara. What would you say? Bum, 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 bum. I want to take a stab at the text of the Gemara. What do you think? Yeah, go answer.
What
would you say? Tzarich yivdok b'simanim. The language of tzarich is language of l'chatchila. Now, what happens with b'diavad? So again, when the Gemara says tzarich yivdok b'simanim, what happens if you didn't do it? Now, if I wanted to, in the language of the Tanaim, if I wanted to tell you that this is imperative, that if you don't do this, it's ma'akev, what might be the language of the Gemara?
Chayav.
Chayav.
Yeah.
It doesn't say chayav. What does it say here? Sorry. So maybe one could say, Tzara shidu b'simanim, vim lo bad. Again, if I was going to continue this, let's say, vim lo badak, kosher. Maybe you could make such a statement? Maybe?
Yeah.
Okay. So hold on to that. We're going to move forward. Amar Rav Yosef. So, Af ananami tanina. So what are we saying here? Where do we get this notion that tzara should be the simon? Where does this come from? I don't see that anywhere. I know we have to shecht. So as we discussed last week, and I'll mention it again, we know that there's certain things that shochet has to do. Right? He has to shech rav simanim. He has to make sure he shechs properly. You have to make sure you don't press it. You have to make sure that it's not possible. Right? There are certain things that you need to do to ensure there's a kosher shechita. Right? One of them isn't tzarich sheyivdok b'simanim. So, where do we get this notion that maybe, let's say for now, midurabanan tzarich sheyivdok b'simanim? Where does that come from? So let's continue reading. He says, I'm going to show you where I get it from. Here's the source. Rabbi Shimon Omer, im shia kedei bikur. Now, I want to explain this because it's not so simple. We learned last week that there are certain things that halacha Moshe Misinai a person needs to do. And if a person does them, it puzzles the shchita. One of them is shia, if you delay. What do I mean? If I have a knife and I'm shechting, and as I shecht, by the way, you have to seesaw, right? We said you can't press it through. It's a drasa. You have to seesaw. As you're in the middle, you check your cell phone. If you delay while you shecht, it's no good. Yeah. Right? You have to... Now, how much, if you delay, does it puzzle it? It's not for now. Okay? But you can't delay. It says what the proof here is, if a person delays the time of bikur. What's bikur? What's bikur? My love. Bikur. Simon. She says, listen, I want to prove to you that, yeah, there's this concept called you have to check the simanim. After you do shechita, you got to check to make sure that you've cut it properly. Where am I going to use? What am I going to? I need a source for this. Oh, I'll tell you where I have a source. Says Rabbi Shimon. He says, I'll tell you where. It says in somewhere else. There's a brisa that says what? If a guy delays, it's no good. Oh, what's the definition of delay of Shia? Kidei bikur. Kidei bikur of what? Simanim. What do we see from here? That there's a concept called bikur simanim. Oh, if there's a concept called bikur simanim, that must be that you got to check the simanim. Here's a proof that after shechita, you have to check simanim. And how long? So again, but remember, what's the delay that's referring to is when you're in the middle of shechita. So again, a person in the middle of shechita is not allowed to stop. How long do you need to? How long is it that if you pause, it puzzles it? The time it takes to check simanim later on after shechita. How long does that take? I don't know, 20 seconds. I don't know, 3 seconds. I have no idea how long it takes to check simanim. But we see there's a concept called bikur simanim. So again, when a guy does shechita, you can't delay. How long do you have to delay for? I know, I have a proof. And what's my delay time called? Bikur simanim. We see there's a concept of bikur simanim. There's a concept of bikur simanim. Said Rabbi Shimon, Av ani nami tanina. I found the proof for this concept that we started with Amar Yehuda Amar Shmuel. So again, Amar Yehuda Amar Shmuel says, after you do shechita, you have to check your simanim. Comes along Shmuel and says, I have a proof that you need to check simanim. What's that proof? When a guy is doing shechita, he can't delay for a period of time. What's that time called? Bikur simanim. Oh, there's a bikur simanim concept. If it's a bikur simanim concept, that must mean that you must bikur simanim after you do shechita. How long does it take to do that? Let's say 5 seconds. So when you're in the middle of shechita, you can't delay for more than 5 seconds. Okay, so far so good. So again, we introduce an idea of checking simanim. Where do we get this idea from? One guy raises his hand, base measure, says, I'll tell you where. Here's a concept that you're not allowed to delay. How you're not allowed to delay the time that it takes to do bikur. Oh, but what must bikur mean? His assumption is that bikur is referring to bikur simanim. We see bikur simanim. That means there's a concept called bikur simanim after shechita. Okay, let's go on. Rav Yosef, sorry. Okay, so again, Rav Shimon says the concept of bikur, and Rav Yosef says that bikur that Rav Shimon is referring to is bikur simanim. Amar le'abayi lo hach. He says, what are you talking about? That's not true at all. Meaning, don't tell me that you have a proof that there's a concept of bikur simanim. That's not what it's referring to. What is it referring to? Lo hachi, not true. Amar Rav Yochanan. No, it refers to the bikur chacham. Doesn't mean that you have to, that the time that it takes to pasal shechita because you delayed is based on the time that it takes to check the simanim after shechita. That's not what it's referring to. When we talk about what is the time of Shia, what's the time of delay during shechita, it's not the time that it takes of bikur simanim. It's referring to not bikur simanim, but a concept called bikur chacham. What is a concept called bikur chacham? Gentlemen, look at Rashi. Again, I'm going to read the Rashi's. Im Shia kadei bikur. For who? She or Shia. Meaning, right, that's the time that it passes Shia, if you delay. Lav kadei bikur simanim. Al magish behem Torah bikur. Yes, there's a concept of Torah bikur. Okay, kadei bikur chacham. Here we go. Livdok hasakin. So there's a concept called bikur chacham. What does this mean, bikur chacham? Says Rashi. Livdok hasakin. Shatabach tzarich laharot hasakin lachacham ha'ir. If you are a shochet and you have your shechita knife, you have an obligation to show it to the Talmud Chacham of the city. If the Talmud Chacham of the city comes by and says, I want to see your knife, you give him your knife. Why? Out of deference to the Talmud Chacham of the city. That's what Rashi says. So even though I'm a shochet and I'm an expert in shechita, I'm an expert in knives, I know everything about knives. If the Rosh Kola, the Rosh Yeshiva comes, the Rav of the big shul comes, I surrender my knives to him as a cover to the Talmud Chacham. Okay, that's a concept.
Like for him to check? Or
for him to check. So is he checking on? So he's not checking because he doesn't trust you. That'd be very problematic. Because if that's the case, then I'm not trustworthy. I'm 100% trustworthy. But there's a concept called, what's the language Rashi says? You have to do it. Why do you have to give your knife to the Chacham of the city? What does Rashi say? Because of? Cover. Nothing to do with my shechita is questionable. Otherwise it'd be very problematic. Right. And how can you trust my shechita? Right. No. We trust your shechita. You're a baki. But what's called? Kavod harav. Right. Kavod harav. Check your knives. Okay. So therefore, we wanted to find a concept. Where do we get the idea? That there's an idea called shehiyah. How do we know there's a concept called Bikur Simanim? The answer is, it's the time of Shia, the time that it takes if you delay. Our Havamina was to say, what is that time? Bikur Simanim. No, Bikur didn't mean Bikur Simanim, it meant Bikur Chacham. It meant, how long does it take for a Chacham to check the knife? Therefore, we're still stuck, we don't have a concept called Bikur Simanim. Let's go on. So then the Gemara says, what are you talking about? It can't be that when we said Bikur, it meant Bikur Chacham, because let's face it, every Chacham checks at a different time. We need to define Shia. You're not allowed to delay a certain amount. If you tell me it's a delay of checking Simanim, it's pretty standard. But if you tell me it's the time that it takes for a Chacham to check your knife, that is extremely what? Dependent. Why? Read Rashi. Im atata dvar chalishirim. Pamim shachacham rachok matabach. Pamim shu karov. Maybe it'll take a while for the chacham to show up. So if you want to tell me that it's about kavod harav, the Rav is coming, and you got to wait. You're not allowed to shecht. You know the rabbi is coming. You got to wait. Maybe he'll be there in 30 seconds. Maybe it'll take him 10 minutes. But we can't use that such a gap, a span of shehiyah. We need to know what shehiyah is. So therefore, it can't be that shehiyah is b'dikat chacham. Therefore, the Gemara continues and says what? Kedei bikur tavach chacham. Period. The time that it takes now a tavach chacham to check. Read Rashi. The shochet is the Talmud Chacham of the city. HaShochet Talmud Chacham. The ein mufla be'ir mimenu. He is the shochet and the Rosh Yeshiva and the Rosh Kolal and the Maradasra. Then mufla be'ir mimenu. Klamar lo talu eshir ela b'shehiyah b'dikat sakin l'chudei. How long does it take to check the knife? So what do we see from here? That the following. We want to find this concept. Where do we have this idea of bikur simanim? Unclear where we actually have a concept of bikur simanim from, but we wanted to find how long shehiyah is. How long is shehiyah? We thought maybe it meant bikur simanim after shechita. Nope, we can't find a source for that. But instead we found a source for bikur chacham. How long is that? No, it doesn't take the amount of time that the Rosh Yeshiva comes to check the knife. It's the tabach himself. How long does it take him to check his knife? Right? He runs his finger across it. If he runs his finger across it, he'll be able to tell if it has a pagam or not. And that is in fact what the time of Shia is. So by the way, halacha l'maaseh, what is the time of Shia? The answer is, depends what type of knife you have. If you have a knife that's for an animal, well, that would take a little bit longer. If you have a knife for a chicken, that would take a little bit shorter. Okay, but that's the definition of Shia. So while you're doing your shechita, you're not allowed to delay the time that it takes to check a knife. Halacha l'maaseh, you can't delay a second. Yeah. We will not allow for shochet to delay any delay. It has to be constant moving. The moment he stops, we're going to passel the shechita. So he has to constantly be moving back and forth. And it has to be a seesaw action to do the shechita. Okay. So far, so good. let's continue. We'll get to, I want to continue the Gemara, and then we'll talk a little. Go see money. Okay. Lo badak mai. I don't know how far you guys got in this Gemara. Lo badak mai. What happens if you didn't do B'dika? So I asked this question earlier. Lo badak mai. What happens? Rabbi Elazar ben Antignus Mishum Rabbi Elazar ben Yanai Cherefa Vasura Bachila. Let me explain something. What happens if you have a cow that gets hit by a car versus a cow that you shecht, and after you did shechita, you realize it has one, it's a treifa. It has one of the blemishes that makes it into a treifa. What is the difference between the meat of animal A and animal B? Again, the first cow gets hit by a car and is dead. The second gets shechted, which means it's dead, right? And you discover later that it has one of the various signs of a treifa. But can you eat either one of these animals? No. What then is the nafka mina between the two of them? So in the year 2015, there is a nafka mina. But in the times of the Holy Temple, it may be built speedily in our days, amen.
All the cows are getting hit by cars in the time of the temple.
No, I don't know. Yeah, maybe, I don't know. Anyone know? What is the nafka mina? So, is it a nevela or a treifa? So, a cow that's hit by a car has a status of a nevela. A nevela is mitame b'masa b'maga. Has an ability to impart tuma. It's an avatuma. If, however, if it's a treifa, then it's not kosher, but it does not emit tuma. So in 2015, there's an nafka mina. In the times of the Beis Hamikdash, there's an nafka mina. And what's an nafka mina? Tuma. So again, a cow gets hit by a car, so we have to be very careful because sometimes our language is different than the halachic language, right? So we call everything not kosher treif, but that's not the real proper way of calling it. Really, a cow is hit by a car, we should say, oh my goodness, that cow is not a treif, the cow is now a nevela. And what about the cow that was shechted properly, and later was discovered when they checked it that this, by the way, the simanim of all the treifas are later, right? It's a Mishnah. What about if it has it's a treifa? Then no tuma. Can't eat it. Still an isser, but it doesn't have an ability to pass over tuma, transmit tuma. Okay.
So practically, the tuma one you can't use for anything, correct? But
you can sell to a non-Jew. No, both of them you can sell to
one, couldn't you use its leather still because the leather's not tumidic? Couldn't you still use it for other things?
Yeah.
But the tuma one you can't, right?
You can sell it to a non-Jew.
No, but for your own personal use.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay, good. So why am I explaining that? Because you're going to need it for the next line. So here we go. Before we look at the Gemara, I'm going to ask you a question. I did shechita. What do I have in front of my... Here's an animal. Oh, right? I do shechita. I don't check the simanim. Meaning, I don't ascertain if I properly severed the two simanim, the kind of veshlik I need to do. What would you place the status of this animal? Kosher, not kosher, treifa, nevela. What status would you give it and why?
Depends on how common the simanim are.
What?
Depends on how common the simanim are.
Well, every animal has a simanim. We know that. Or else it wouldn't be alive.
The siman that would make it non-kosher.
I have to cut both of them. So my knife went from location A to location B. Right? Otherwise, I'm to talk about. Right? So I finished, I cut it. What would you say is the status of this animal that now lies here on the ground, and why?
Check it. I mean, I thought we established before.
Okay, so you need to check. Let's say you don't check it. That's his question. That's what I asked you before, right?
Yeah.
Lo badak mai. Lo badak. You didn't check the simanim. And now you can't check anymore. It's too late. Why is it too late? Because it's been too long of a delay. It got maybe, interesting. It gets mixed with other animals. We'll deal with that maybe another time. But you can't check anymore. It's too late. You've lost your ability to check. It's now Yeah, how do we? Why is it too late? It's too late because the head got severed, and maybe it got severed because you ripped the head off. It fell off on its own. Like you need to. The truth is, you never actually. When you do shchita, I should say, you never actually go the whole way through because it could hit the bone in the back and pass it. So you want to only cut 2/3, let's say, which is the simanim, right? But now the head is totally severed. So wait a second, you can't check now because of course the simanim are off, right? Because the head's severed. The question is, was that because of your shchita that cut the simanim, or that because it dangled off and it snapped off the rest of the way, let's say, right? So you can't check now. You're too late. So lo badak ma. What would happen now if you don't do bedika?
Is it like non-glot, I guess?
Glot is something totally different. Yeah, that has to do with the innards of the animal. So let's read. And you tell me what you think this means to you. Okay. Treifa, vasur b'achila. It's a treifa? Meaning, what do we assume? Did we do proper shchita or not a proper shchita?
No.
That we
did proper shchita.
We did proper shchita, but it's not kosher. Huh? That's weird. Remember, that's pretty good. We did it's a treifa, basur b'achila. Let's go on. B'matanita tana. No, we learned in a Mishnah that it's what, and a Brisa that what? Nevela umetame b'masa. Two different opinions, which is why I needed to give that introduction. The first opinion is it's a treifa. Wait a second. Which means that you did proper shchita, but you still can't eat it. Second opinion is a nevela, which means that
It was
It was
it was
an improper shchita.
an improper shchita, but it's dead. It was as if he was hit by a car, and it's metam b'masa b'maga.
That's the more intuitive one.
Very good. Very good. Actually, thank you, Shay. I was going to ask you which one's more intuitive. You nailed it, right? Meaning, the first one's supposed to be impossible. You follow? Again, there's two possibilities. I did shchita, I didn't do shchita. If I did do proper shchita, then the animal should be kosher. How could it be a treifa? Remember what I said to you? What's the definition of a treifa? You do proper shchita, but we find another blemish that makes it a treifa. But I don't understand. What's our problem here? Did I do proper shchita? But if I did proper shchita, then the animal should be kosher to eat. How is it possible that it's considered proper shchita? Therefore it's a treifa and a sur b'achila?
Well, yeah, because you didn't do bedika. That's why.
Because I didn't do bedika. But again, I'm assuming my shchita. If I assume my shchita is good, so why can't I eat it?
The whole premise is that you didn't do bedika, though.
Right.
Bedika is that there might be a blemish.
No. I get a very good question. Not that I didn't do bedika on the rest of the animal. I didn't do bedika on the fact of cutting both simanim.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's what I said. That's what the bedika is. That's what Rashi. Bedika is bedika of the simanim, not bedika of the other simonei treifot. So again, we have two different opinions. The first opinion says that what? It's a treifa. Asur b'achila. Meaning, it's not metame. The other opinion, which is more intuitive, says it's a nevela, because as if you didn't do proper shit, because we can't prove we did proper shit. Now, here's my question. Why are we going under the assumption that it's a nevela? What might be the rationale that we have to say that it's a nevela? If we don't ascertain that we did proper shchita, why is it a nevela?
If you punch
What?
one of the things, but let's say you didn't get both of them, would that make it an avela?
That would make it a nevela, correct.
So then we're assuming we outright get it wrong then.
Okay, why we assume we did it right? Okay, we assume we did it right.
Because in the worst case scenario, we would be eating a non.
Worst case scenario. Say better than. Give me a halachic terminology for why are we assuming that it's not good. What's a halachic principle called? Why are we assuming the worst?
Chazaka.
Very good. What's our chazak? What's the chazak of this? This is why this is the sugya chazaka, right? What am I operating on?
There's a possibility that you're eating too much.
Again, what's the chazaka? Forget tuma. What's the chazaka of what? What's the chazaka of this animal?
that it's not kosher.
Why? I agree with you. Why is that true?
Because proper shechita was never done on it.
Excellent. Therefore, what is it considered?
It's considered nevel. I don't know. I don't know what it is.
Very good. What is it considered? What's the status of an animal before it was shchited? What's this called? Well, what's an animal before it was? Yes, so is an animal kosher?
Only with proper shechita.
Okay, so what's it called beforehand? What?
Like chai?
Chai. So why can't you eat a live animal?
Because every minute chai.
Thank you very much. That's exactly what Rashi says. She says it's called every minute chai. How do I remove that chazaka of every minute chai?
Shechita.
Can I do shechita? You follow? This is a chazaka. We're going to see that right now inside.
So he's basically saying that we don't assume that we did proper shechita because we know we did shechita, and that's how you know that.
Hold on. So according to the opinion that says it's a nevela, we are operating under the assumption. The first opinion is going to be much more difficult to understand. Let's do the easy one, right? Easier opinion. It's a nevela, metame. Why is it a nevela? It's metame. I had a knife. I didn't do proper. Can I ascertain that I did proper shechita? Am I definitive in my approach? I can't. I don't know if I did proper shechita. If I don't do proper shechita, what can I operate on? What was its status beforehand? What was its status a second before I did shechita? It was alive. What do I violate if I eat a live animal? That's called Ever Minachai. Rashi's going to say it's called Ever Minachai. How do I remove the chazak of Ever Minachai? What do I have to do? Proper shechita. Did I do proper shechita here? Am I sure that I did proper shechita? No. And in order to remove Ever Minachai, I got to be certain I did proper shechita. Am I sure I did proper shechita? No. So therefore, I can't eat it because that's a doraisa. You can't. Has a chazaka of Ever Minachai. I have a safek if I did proper shechita. There's no way a safek of proper shechita is going to remove the chazaka of Ever Minachai. That's not going to work. And therefore, I can't eat it. Excellent, excellent, excellent point. Very good. That if it's Ever Minachai, it's not metame. Ooh, all of a sudden now, maybe you can appreciate the first opinion. Psh, very good, Josh. Talk it out. Explain the first opinion now.
So if it's eating, it's never taken on the status of becoming kosher, but it's still.
So here we go. My name is Betsy the cow, right? Betsy the cow, and I am alive and kicking, and I am not metame. I'm a live animal. Now what happens? We kill Betsy. Betsy's for sure dead, right? I mean, we see Betsy's dead.
How did it become tame unless you know it's tame?
So it's a crazy concept. So you can bifurcate, is that the right word? You can split, you can bifurcate, what? Even though I don't know if I did proper shechita, because if I'm relying on every minachai from before, which is a chazaka that it's tehora, therefore I can maybe split the two and say, listen, it has a chazaka that it's tahor. Why? Because it's Ever Minachai, which is not metame. I shouldn't say Torah, but not metame. But on the other hand, I can't eat it because it's, I don't know if I did proper shechita. That would be the first opinion that maybe says it's Eino metame, but it's a treifa and Eser bachila. Very good.
So
we got there much faster than I thought.
It's like
good.
The first opinion is saying since it's not tame, therefore it's treifa, and the second thing is since it's a nevela, therefore
then it's treifa. Right. That's one way to explain this. Come on, very good. It is not so simple to get. Good. So again. The second opinion. A second opinion. What is it? I don't remember the name. It was here. Rabbi Elazar ben Yanai. Amar Rabbi Elazar ben Antignus. Mishum Rabbi Elazar Rav Yana. He says it's a treifa, fasur bachila. How can maybe we understand this? Without seeing any Rishnaf, we haven't seen anything. Just we're trying to go with our intuition, trying to understand this Gemara. It's a very difficult Gemara to understand. How can we say that it's a treifa and a sor bachila? The answer is, let's go back to what we were saying. It has the status of what? If we say that it has the status, Rashi holds this way. It has the status of Ever Minachai before it's shechted. Therefore, once it's dead, I don't know if I severed the simanim. What is the chazaka that I'm going on? A chazaka of is Ever Minachai Metame? No. Therefore, maybe it's a trefa. It's not Metame. And Asur Bachila. Now, the reason why it's crazy to say this, because when it says trefa, maybe it's like a global trefa. I mean, try to tell us what does a trefa mean? Trefa equals dead but not metame. So this is like a trefa. It's dead but it's not metame. How could we say such a thing? Because trefa usually means it was shechted properly. If it was shechted properly, it should be kosher to eat. The answer might mean that what? Maybe, okay, but what the chazaka that it was standing on before was Ever Minachai. So if I can't, so yes, it's true that I can't eat it because I haven't removed the Ever Minachai chazaka. So therefore, it's Ever Minachai. It's not I can't Asur Bachila, but if that's true, it goes hand in hand, and therefore it's also what? Not mitame, because it's going to the previous status. And unless I know what happened, I can't just change the level of tuma without being 100% certain. Okay? The other opinion says, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? We have to assume, was it shechted properly? If it wasn't shechted properly, it's a nevela. And since it's a nevela, it's mitame. And since it's a nevela, you can't eat it. Cool. Okay, good. Let's read on the Gemara. Now, Tana, let's read it. Amar first Bachila. B'matzani satana. Nevela umetamasa. Okay, fine. B'mai kamiflagi. What are they arguing over? Listen to this. B'deravuna. What's Ravuna say? Amar. Behema bechayeha becheskat isur omedet. When an animal is alive, it has a chazaka isur. And what's the chazaka of isur? Rashi. Until you can ascertain how it was shechted, it has a chazaka that it was before. Nishchata, once it's shechted, harei becheskat heter ad shiva delacha b'ma nitrafa. When you shecht an animal, you need to ascertain. Meaning, now that I see it shechted, I assume now it's kosher, unless I discover that it was nitrafa. How do I discover it's nitrafa? I check the insides of the animal, and I can see it was nitrafa. Mar savar becheskat iser kaima, v'hashta meitahi. The other one holds has a chazaka of iser, exists, and now it's dead. Mar savar becheskat iser minan, becheskas tuma lo minan. Period. Okay. Now this is. So we had the advantage. We explained everything before you read it. Otherwise, you're like, what is going on here? Right? So we see from here, it appears that you're able to split, again, that you're splitting up the Tuma concept. There's a chazaka. I'm going to plug in Rashi because it makes it easier just to discuss it. Rashi holds that it's about Ever Minachai. Since it is Ever Minachai, you can't remove, but it's now dead. It's true that it's now dead, but the question is, I can't say that it was necessarily or definitively was a good shechita. I don't know. I have no idea. I can't be bodek the simanim. And therefore, I can call it a treifa. Why is it a treifa? Treifa because it's dead but not mitame, because I'm going on the status of Ever Minachai. Yet, the other opinion says, what are you talking about? It's ridiculous. It's dead. Don't know how it was shechted. I assume it's in a vela. Therefore, it's mitame. Okay? Any questions, comments so far?
Can you say that last part again?
Yeah. So again, we have two ways of understanding this chazaka. Let's see it inside. So again, behema. I'll read it slowly. Behema bechayeha becheskat isur amedet. When an animal is alive, it has a chazaka. What's the chazaka called? Ever Minachai. Ad shodelacha b'men nishchata. How do you remove the chazaka of Ever Minachai? You have to know you shechted it. If it's nishchata, harei b'chazkat heter, it's permitted to eat ad shodelacha b'men nitrafa, unless you find out how it was made a trefa. Marsavar b'cheskat iser kaima. The other opinion says that it's an iser exists. Again, call it every minachai. V'hashtamita, and now it's dead. Umars, and now it's dead, and therefore, since it's dead, it is not kosher to eat. Umarsavar b'cheskat iser amrinan. The other opinion says I can say it's iser. B'cheskat tuma lo amrinan. I cannot assume that it's mitame. Therefore, I can't. The cheska of tuma doesn't continue. Since the cheska of tuma doesn't continue because it goes from ever minachai, and therefore it's not mitame. It's asur to eat, but it's not mitame. Okay. Let's take a look. I want to read to you. I brought here the Shita Mekubetza. He's going to try and take one approach to understand this a little bit better. Okay, are you ready? I'll read you the Shita Mekubetza. Apparently there's a newer Shita Mekubetza. This is the new, old. Now there's a new version of it. It has like comments on the bottom. Okay. Nevela umatabe masa. I'm going to read to you. V'hachi na mikatu b'shita. Delahachi. Tana nevela umetame b'masa. Right? So again, it was shechted. And it's a nevela because we don't know if it was b'shita. De'ilo tani ela nevela havamrinan. Dechi tana nevela li tsure ba'achila b'luchul hu amrinan. Aval letume lo kedaminan lememar kaman b'cheskat iser amrinan b'cheskat tuma lo amrinan. That's essentially what he was saying, quoting the Gemara. V'hainami lo nehir. Okay, the pshita. Here we go. De kevan de tane nevela umetabe b'masa v'achi perachla b'gemara lekaman. Okay, fine. Shchita nachri nevela. Okay, let me read you what he. V'yesh lamar. This is what he wants to explain. The milta b'taima. What's the rationale behind it? Kaimalan mishum hachi nevela mishum de bechayeha becheskat iser ever min hachai have kaima ever min hachai mit vadai is metame b'masa. Achinami ikal ferushi trefa va'asur b'achila kolomar trefa b'cheskat isur achila minam cheskat tumah. So what I think what he wants to say here is the Shita Mekubetza wants to argue that listen, which is I think what I tried to fit in my explanation based on the Shita that I read before, that we need to be able to, in order to call something. We have to be certain the way the animal died. If we're not certain the way the animal died, so I am certain that the animal died because it's dead. That's easy. But how did it die? So what here is the vadai and what here is the safek. So it appears that what the Shita wants to argue is that when we say trefa can be used as like a glue. It doesn't literally mean trefa. What does trefa mean? It's not a nevela. I mean, it's so why? Because again, I'm taking from Ever Minachai. Ever Minachai has a certain status, just like Josh said correctly, not metame. Unless I can break that chazaka, then I have no choice. That trickles down into the next level. And unless I've removed, can you say certain to me that it was a nevela? I can't. It's a suffix. Since it's a suffix that it's nevela, I go by the previous chazaka. What's the previous chazaka? What's the previous chazaka? Every minachai. Every minachai is not mitame. That is that first opinion, which seems to be so complicated to understand. So again, the approach is that it's using the word trefa in an expansive term. It doesn't mean trefa, literally trefa, right? But rather, it's just trefa in the sense that it's not mitame. Oh, what's the rationale behind it? Says the Shita Mekubetza. What's the rationale? The chazaka of every minachai trickles down. I want to just. That's where I got this from. Shita Mekubetza. Cool.
Very interesting.
Very counterintuitive. So that's what I always thought was the way to explain it. Until I heard someone else explain it differently. He says that the following: when do we imply? I hope we have time to go through this properly. When do we use the word rov, halachic majority, from? It doesn't apply to the physical reality. It's the only time we can use rov is when we need to manage isurim. I'll give you an example. If there is a minority, if there's a little bit of poison, right? So if there's a little bit of poison, we don't use the terminology, a little bit of poison. That's the mute. Rov, chazaka are only terminologies for isurim, not for sakanas, not for anything else. So Rashi uses the concept of isur to explain Rabbi Elazar's opinion that it's a treifa. But what does he want to argue? That really, really, really there's something else that's going on here. And that is pretty amazing. What the Mishnah says in Elu Treifot, is, guess what? What happens if you have a hole in the veshet? What happens if you have a hole in the food pipe?
You're agreeing with the definition of a bracha.
What's the language? I'm going to read you the language. Elu Treifot. Says the Mishnah in Elu Treifot. Where's that Mishnah? Here it is. Elu Treifot. Here. Listen to this. So here's a Mishnah. It's the third parak in Chulin. Elis, what's Treifot? And he says this, right? Look at the first one. Nekuva haveshet. So this guy said was pshat, simple pshat. He says you don't need the shita mekubet. The shita mekubet that actually makes it more complicated. To extend the tuma of iver min achai. He says simple. There's a concept called elu treifot. And what does it mean, elu treifot? The behema nekuva haveshet. What does it mean, nekuva haveshet? If let's say the veshet has some type of blemish in it, he says simple. The language of the Gemara, that opinion is just very sensitive towards the Mishnah. What happens if you shech the animal and you discover all these things? It's a treifa. He says maybe if you don't do biduk simanim, what have you done? You haven't checked the veshet. So what must you assume? There's a nekuva of a veshet. He says maybe the simple pshat. Not don't give me chazak ever minachai. No. Why does he say treifa? He says treifa because it's dead. But if you don't do bedika of simanim, it's as if you've done a nekuva of a veshet. A nekuva of a veshet is considered a treifa. The Mishnah in Elu Treifot. I'm like, that works too. That makes sense. Nekuva of a veshet. So he says those are so. The truth is, the Shibud Gebesed has to create all this evermin, right? Whereas you'll see Rashi here doesn't. So Rashi holds it. He doesn't actually say it. He doesn't need to spell it out so much here. But okay.
He doesn't quote the Mishnah either.
But he doesn't quote the Mishnah, right? He doesn't. No, he doesn't. He doesn't. Yeah. Anyways, so those are two different ways, maybe, to understand what is going on here. So it is true that there's this chazaka of every minachai that exists. But the question is that. Meaning, we'll go through this for a second. What's the rationale why the Ever Minachai continues? Not because that doesn't get removed. The answer is because that's what the Mishnah says. The Mishnah says when you have a Elu Treifa, there's one of the similar in the Treifa. So it's very simple. It's a Treifa. Okay, those are the two ways to understand maybe what's going on here in our Gemara. Okay, this is a good place to stop, actually. What we're going to go back now. Yeah, the Gemara will go back to what we just read and go through this, chazak of Isser. We'll go through it again. That's what the Gemara does. We'll do the next part of the Gemara, God willing, next week. So, if you have time, look at the next few lines of the Gemara, which kind of picks up from where we left off, and we'll go weiter.